and they will deliver the practical and hands-on practice on Cisco. Okay, so I invite Mr. Junaid for delivering a practical session on interfacing a STM32 microcontroller with MATLAB and hardware. So I would like to I request Mr. Junaid, please start your session.
Thank you, Paresh sir, for
Uh,
kind
yes.
introduction.
And
So,
we will okay. If you have any query, we can solve this query at the end of session. Hmm?
yeah,
Okay.
okay, sir. Yes,
So,
sir.
okay, you can start, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, first of all, I will welcome everyone to National Infotech, and we are very glad to that this is a this kind of we are mostly aimed towards this kind of a training to take place because we believe in the less theory and more practical. So with that, this also helps us in developing ourselves and developing the understanding in the minds of students towards the power electronics and hardware application and how the actual world works. So with that, I'll just give a little brief of today's session. As sir has explained that we will go seeing the uh, MATLAB interfacing, STM32 interfacing with the use of MATLAB. So okay, and in the MATLAB, in the STM32, we are going to see the peripherals which we are going to use, and then we are going to see the few exercises, and followed by the developments of our power electronics converter in these weeks, and what are the peripherals used for the this specific development of power electronic converters.
It's just mask निकाला नहीं क्या?
Yes, sir. Okay. So I'll share my screen. Okay. So my screen is visible, right, to everyone?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. So first of all, we are going to see the what are the peripherals which we are going to use for our developing this power electronics converter. So let's make this session bit interactive. So I would like someone of you to answer this queries that we can get the best out of each other. I think it is okay, sir, Paresh sir, that we can interact in between the session, or
Yes,
should we
yes.
have to?
So you can interact any time. We can
Okay,
interact
okay.
anytime. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Anyone would like to comment?
Sir, this is Yugal. So you are starting from the scratch, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, thanks, sir.
But we are focusing. We are mostly focusing on the development of this power electronics converter. What will be the peripherals from the controller which we are going to use? So you must
Is
have
that
developed any of the hardware using the Arduino module. So in that, what peripherals you have used and how we are going to implement with using this STM controller.
okay? So that means you are going to what we call the interact the Arduino and STM32, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Sir, for the Arduino and STM32, we need to install some kind of packages in the MATLAB, right?
Yeah, it is required.
So please explain those part also, because we are not aware of those things. We are
Yeah,
only aware of the MATLAB.
that we will explain. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So for the developing this converter, we are going to use the peripherals of this STM controller, which are there are majorly four peripherals which we are going to use. So first is GPIO. So it is general purpose input output. Then we are going to see the timers. The timers are so useful in the closed loop operation and high switching frequency operations. Then ADC, which is analog to digital converter, which is to make any any circuit closed loop, you have to sense the actual data from, and then you have to give it back to the controller. So that we will be seeing. And then there is a DAC. So the DAC is a digital to analog converter. Okay, so the suppose you have taken any of the signals in the controller and you want to see how your control is working. So you get that signal out from the controller and you observe it on the DSO screen. Okay. So this few peripherals we are going to explore, and we will also see the LCD interfacing. Okay. So today's our target is we will explore the Weijung block set in the MATLAB library, and then we will see the exercise of digital output, digital inputs, and we will see the interfacing of keyboard and LCD. Okay. So for the installing the Weijung, you require three softwares basically. So first you have to have MATLAB. So it is not of the three software required. I'm suggesting that it is the basic you have to have installed in your system. So after the MATLAB, the first thing is you have to your system has to be your system should have the Kale Mu Vision Kale. So let me show you. Okay, install this Kale environment. You have to install in your system. Then you have ST-Link utility. You have to install it in your system. This ST-Link utility. Okay. And then after that you have to follow it by the installing of the Weijung block set. Okay, so this is the sequence in which you have to install Weijung in order to properly start your programming in the MATLAB environment.
Sorry for interrupting. Can you repeat the software name once again?
Okay, so first is a Kale MDK ARM, which is okay.
KEL, right?
Yes, Mu Vision Kale. Then there is a ST-Link utility, and then this Weijung block set. Okay, yeah, Weijung block set you can get it from their website. Okay, the short form is there. You have to fill up it, and they will send you the downloading link. Okay. So at that downloading link will be you get the one zip file and you extract it and you run there is one installation file. Let me show you what does it look like. Okay, so this Weijung block kind of file will be there, and you have to run this amp file in order to install Weijung in your system. Okay. After the installation of Weijung, you will get you have to go to this ST-Link Simulink library.
So while
And
installation, it is automatically interfaced with the MATLAB library.
yeah, you have to install through the MATLAB. This AMP file which I have just shown you. This AMP file. Okay, sorry. This AMP file you have to run through the MATLAB. Okay, this also only works through MATLAB. So when you run this AMP file, then you will after the completion of that AMP file running, then you will get this Weijung block set. Okay, when you see this, then your installation is successful. Okay, hold on a minute. I have some.
Only we need to run the M file of Weijung block set, right?
Yeah, but after the installing that two other softwares, if the sequence is not right, you won't get the proper working Weijung in your
So that
system.
means first one is Keel, second one is ST-Link utility, and last one is
Y-
Weijung.
Yeah. Hold on a minute. Okay, I'll be muting my mic for a few seconds. Okay, I'll be coming back. Okay. Uh, so we will move further. Okay. Someone's mic is on. If you don't mind.
हाँ सर काय म्हटलं
Uh,
हो
okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, please mute your mic. Excuse me, participants, please mute your mic. It's disturbing our session.
Thank you, sir.
I think Mr. Shembekar, you mute your mic.
Okay, so we'll move further. So first, after when you have installed this Weijung block set, then you will get this kind of Weijung block set library in your Simulink library browser. Okay, so from there you have to select the blocks you require for the programming. So yesterday we have seen the simulation. In the simulation, we have used one block where some participants said that if you do not put this block, there will be some error. So please, someone, which block was that? We are talking right now. We are talking about. In order to run your simulation, you have to have that block in your simulation file. Okay.
Maybe Power GUI.
Yes. So Google it was, yeah, right?
Yes, Google.
Okay, Power GUI. So through this Weijung block set, what is our aim? Can anyone specify what is our aim through this? Why we are doing this Weijung block set? Using this.
I think this is the hardware compatible block set which can be easily used for the STM controller.
Okay, yeah. It is exactly that. Through this, we are programming our controller. Okay. Which is
So I'm having one question.
yeah,
Like with the help of this, whatever Vygen block sets are available, which is
yeah.
currently indicating in the screen. So with the
Hmm.
help of the only these blocks can be useful for the whole power electronics operation.
Yeah.
This block is enough, right?
Yeah, that is enough.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, we will move further. That yesterday we have seen which controller we are going to use. Okay. So anyone other than Yugal Kishore would like to give their opinion which controller we are going to use uh, to develop this power electronic converters?
PID controller.
Yeah, the PID will be in the like in the control system. It will be there.
Okay.
We are actually the microcontroller we want. Which controller we are going to use? Microcontroller.
Okay.
Okay, so we are going to use this STM32F4 microcontroller. If you have noticed in the yesterday's slide that that controller we are going to use is STM32F407VG. Okay, so from there you have to select this. So you can see there is this two two controller configuration are there, that is STM32F4F0 and STM32F4. Okay, so you have to select this STM32F4 controller. Okay, am I pointing it properly, or is it, let me do one thing. Okay.
It is perfectly visible.
uh,
Yes, visible.
okay. Okay, so it should be more clear now. Okay, so this STM32F4 target. From there we are going to take any of the this uh, blocks we are going to use for developing this controllers converter. Okay, any of the program we are going to develop, we are going to get the STM compatible block from here. Okay, so from there first as we have discussed about that power GUI block, right? So uh, so when do you require that power GUI block? The power GUI block you require when you are working with the power circuit in your simulation, right? So is there and will there be any power component available in this simulation file? See, the more interaction will be there, the more
So
interesting
you're
it will
talking
be.
about the power GUI, right? So in power GUI, there is no power, what we call power circuit.
Yeah. I'm asking is that will we require the what power circuit will be in this simulation file, whatever we are going to create here? Will it be required power circuit?
So you're talking about power GUI, right?
No, our see, our aim is clear, right? We want to use this Weijing block set. We want to develop some power electronics converter.
This particular simulation doesn't have the power circuit because we are only concerned about the control. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That was the answer I was looking for. Yeah, right. So the power circuit won't be there. So will you require the power GI block in this simulation file?
that I really don't know.
No. So when you don't have the power GI power circuit, so what is the need of power GI block? Okay.
Okay.
So in the power GI block will be replaced by this STM32F4 target setup block. So the target setup block will be the your brain of this code, which will indicate what kind of controller we are programming and what kind of compiler we are using and what is the driver we are using into interface with the controller. Okay. So let us see where we get that STM32F4. So when you develop some simulation, you know that the Power GUI is the must have block. So in this kind of in this Weijing programming, this is the must block which you should have in your any of the program. Oh, okay. So this is the target setup. From there you have to get this target setup block. Okay. So this is the target setup block you have to have. So this will be replacing your Power GUI block in your simulation file. Okay. So the three major changes to be done in this target setup block. So first let us open this target setup. So three major changes I am going to show you right now is you have to change this compiler, which I have said that we are going to use the compiler. For that we have installed Kale software. So for that we are going to use this MDK ARM compiler. Okay. And as I earlier said that MCU, which kind of microcontroller unit we are using, the MCU we are using is STM32F407VG LQFP100. The 100 pins available on the on this controller. Okay, this is an LQFP100. Okay, so this controller setting should be done. These two settings to program this controller. You can also program this many controllers if you have available this control any of the controller. You can use this Weijing block set to program any of this kind of controller. Okay, so for our development we are going to use this F407VG, and the programmer debugger we are using is ST-Link, which other software we have installed prior to this Weijing installation. This ST-Link we are going to use in order to debug the program to the controller. Okay, so these major three changes are to be done in order to program your controller. So okay, up till now it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So only this many changes we are going to do in this target setup block. Okay. So okay. So moving on further, the other peripherals we have talked like the GPIO, timer, ADC, DAC. So from where you can get that blocks? So for that, we'll again go to this STM Simulink library, and then we will go to this STM32F4 target. On that, we will go to the on-chip peripherals. On on-chip peripherals, you will see this ADC, DAC, IO, and timer, and UART, SPI, any of this. You want whatever you want to use, CAN bus, flash memory, I2C, reset. Okay, these are the available peripherals you can use. Okay, so for our application which we have limited to this ADC, DAC, IO timer. Okay, so ADC you can get from here, DAC you can get from here, this DS regular DAC. Then there is this IO which we are going to see in today's exercise. Okay, this digital output. Please remember, try to remember this location. I will be asking this location when we see our programming of this our exercise. Okay, then this is IO, the digital input output, then the timer, the advanced PWM, basic PWM encoder, PWM capture. Okay, so from there we will get these blocks. Okay, so I think the from where we can get the blocks and target setup block will is all clear. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll move further. I'll close this and this one too. Okay, so first exercise is of our is to generate a pulse, so digital output. Okay, so the digital output from we will get a pulse of 1 kilohertz out from our controller, and also we will toggle one LED at the 1 second. So first let me show you the diagram of our controller motherboard on which is this.
Meanwhile, I'm having one question. Like for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
installation of all those three softwares, is there any compulsion for the MATLAB version? Like currently you're using 2014 version, so
yeah.
like any version can be compatible with the software.
Yeah, after the latest version of the 2014 upwards, you can any use. It should be
Okay.
2014. And lower than that, it is not supporting.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So this is the motherboard of the designed by National Infotech, and on which the controller, this our STM32F407 controller is here, and its pin 100 pins are buffered here through these buffer ICs in order to protect it from the any of the external damages. Okay, so you can see this is here. The GPI block is here, GPI peripheral is here, SPI I2C is here, QEI quadrature encoder input is here, this GPO general purpose output is here. Then this is the timer section which is having advanced PWM and basic timers of timer 1 and timer 8. And this is ADC. This ADC channels are here. This DAC channel is here. From the ADC you can vary from this port. This UART communication is here, CAN bus communication is here, the LCD interfacing is.
So all the physical pins are distributed over the board.
Yes, exactly. And also buffered. Okay.
Buffered means, sir?
Buffered means it is to provide the protection to the our controller. Okay. So this controller, in case of any of the damage happens into your to your circuit, and your controller won't this controller won't be damaged. Okay.
Okay.
So this PD1 to 15 are LEDs available. This alphanumeric LCD is here. Okay. So we will be seeing this motherboard and also in our implementation of the exercises. Okay, so this first exercise which we have seen to generate a pulse of 1 kilohertz on PD12 pin and toggle LED for 1 second on PD13 pin. So this PD12 and 13 pin are what should be what? In which way in which peripherals we can get this pins?
LED.
LED, yeah, but LED is what? It is giving in command to controller, or it is getting command from controller?
Is getting command from controller.
Okay, yeah. So it is suggesting that it is working as in a GPO mode. It is a general purpose output. So try to locate this PD12 and 13 pin on this controller.
Sir, there is a LED section.
Yeah, that is LED, but if you will look closely, there is also pin available which is having same
Yes,
name.
sir. It is underlined, I guess. 11, 12, 13, 14.
Yeah. That is right. This one is right, but there is also some this pin is also terminated elsewhere where you can find it. Okay.
Yes, sir. In GPO.
Yeah, right. GPO here. Okay. PD12, 13. So that's what I was trying to get. Okay. So this PD12 and 13 pin we are going to use to get this 1 kilohertz pulse of on PD12, and we will blink this PD13 LED at 1 second rate. Okay.
Sir, this PD 13 and 14 are directly connected with the STM32 board, right? Physically, internally it is connected, right?
Yeah, it is connected to this controller only, but through this buffer IC. This you can see U6, U5, U6. These are three ICs. These are buffered ICs, buffer ICs. Okay. Through these ICs, these are terminated here. These pins. Okay. So we want to use this PD12 and PD13 pin. So first, let us please someone get me this digital output block. From where we can get this digital output block? How should I get this digital output block in this simulation file? Other than Google, only Google is answering that. Otherwise, we can say that if Google only wants to learn, then individual tuition classes we can arrange.
Hello. If you have any query, please ask. I request participant, please ask if you have any query. It is an interactive session. Okay, sir. Continue, sir.
Okay, sir. Yeah, thank you. So, Google, please.
I think it is available in on-chip peripherals.
Yeah. It's a so lame question to ask right now to you. Okay, so this is the digital output block from where you can get this digital output Weijing block set, STM32F4 target, on-chip peripherals, and this IO section you get this digital output block. So, the simple mistake I would like you to note here that what students and so many faculties at the earlier stage of this learning this Weijing block set, what they do is we normally type the whatever the block we require in this search area, and we search this digital output. Okay. And you will get this block, and you will simply get this. Okay, right, this is the digital output block we have to use. So yeah, I will just drag it in here, and then I will try to configure it this digital output. Okay, so now we have configured this pin. Okay, pin 2, and now I should get this on my any of the PB2 pin, right? So PB2 pin they will locate, so it will be available on that controller. And then what they will do, that they will try to compile and dump it in the controller. When you will come dump into the controller through this build button. Sorry, we are used to use this shortcut on the keyboard, so that's why I've already used this build command. Okay, so you just press this build model and it will try to build this program into your dump the program into your controller. So now it is generating a source code for and then the compiler we use the C compile C file and it will dump it into the controller. Okay. Okay, so you see there is some error in the compiling source code. Okay, so what is this error? So can anyone specify what is this error? Why this error occurred? It is not that PB2 pin which is not available on the digital output. Even if it is available, the error will be there.
Maybe because of the speed.
No, not because of. Is it can be right guess, but in this case it is not right.
Maybe we have followed the right way to off this particular block.
Right way to?
We have not chosen the right way to off this particular block.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so when I open this properties of this block and open this properties of this block. Okay, so what is the change you are able to observe in this? In the first line, you will be able to see the what is the mistake I have made. Okay, so you see the block. This one is the right block, STM32F4 digital output, and you see in this STM32F0 digital output.
It is another version of the STM.
Yeah. Okay. So you have chosen the controller STM32F4 in this target setup block, but then you are using the block compatible for STM32F0. Then this Weijing is conflicting it with the and it is giving us error. Okay. So this mistake is this mistake everybody is making, including myself. In the earlier stage, I also made this mistakes. But we are humans. We only learn from our mistakes. Okay. So I try to just guide you which are the possible mistakes that can happen. Okay. Another small mistake I would like to happen to be the issue of the code compilation. When this code compilation can cause error. So let me see if this it is working properly. This code right now. So this build button, you are now clear that this build will generate a C code and it will dump it into your controller. And then you will get this PD12 but on 1 kilohertz per second PD12 and this 1 second per second this PD13 pin.
Before clicking on the build button, is it necessary to install any kind of other software for the USB recognition?
Yeah. USB you have to connect. See, this is the same error. Okay. So generate source code, it is green, means it is completed. Pack source code, the source code it has packed, and the compiling source code it is also completed. And then the error was to connect to the target. So connect to target means your controller is not connected to your system. Right now I have not connected the controller, so that's why it is giving this error. Okay. So when I connect this controller, let me connect the controller. Okay.
that particular STM32 controller doesn't need any kind of external power supply, only USB is enough, right?
Yeah, you were saying.
So my question is that, like, the STM32 controller required the external power supply, or through USB it is like can
Yeah,
be passed?
on this motherboard we have given it the external power supply. Okay,
Uh-huh.
but it can work on the USB power from your PC system, but we don't recommend it.
Okay.
Okay, even for the this motherboard we don't recommend it to run it on your system supply.
Okay.
So now I have connected my controller. You will be able to see in this. Okay, so this is my controller DIS407VG. Okay, so now when I will dump now, then it will be programmed. The controller, my controller will be programmed according to my program.
Sir, is it necessary to take the STM32F4, or can we take F0 also?
No, according to whatever the controller you are having, you have to select it.
Okay.
So right now we are having STM32F4 controller, so that's why we are selecting it. Okay. So you can see it is now all the blocks are green. Okay. So now it is this program is successfully downloaded into our controller. Okay, so this small error we can face in our experiencing in exploring this controller. Okay, so this can be the error. Another small error which also happened to be made by so many of the persons is that so right now I am programming this, and let's say I have my location is this. Okay, Dalgaon HTTP week 1 content day 2. So if I change this, you can see you all are aware about this directory current folder section on the MATLAB, right? So if I change this current folder, right now I am in the D student training project 2021 content Jalgaon HTTP week 1 content day 2. Right now I am here. Okay, and my file is this D1 exercise 1 digital output. Okay, so if I change the current folder to this content, and then I will try to dump this program, so it is directly showing me error. Okay, the call to STM32F4 make RTW hook during the entry hook generated the following error. Okay, so current, you see this before building the model, make sure that your current directory is where the Simulink model is located. Okay, so wherever you have said your file, so created your program file, simulation file, which is this, in that location should be in this current folder in MATLAB. Otherwise it will give error. So now when I again dump this program, so you can see it is not showing me error. So it is again
What is this full chip error, sir? Full chip erase.
full chip erase means we have not yet enabled in the target setup block. The full chip erase means the before programming the controller to whatever program you have created in here, it will erase the whatever the previous program was there, and then it will again dump this program only. Okay, so let's say you have generated this PD. Okay, this pins on the this pulses on the LED, and when you want to interface with your LCD, you have program another another code, and then you are dumping it, so it won't erase this other these two pulses, and it will be keep creating the pulses occupied in the, not create it, it won't creating, but the PD12 and 13 would be occupied in the in that. Okay.
Okay. So that means we
So
can upload multiple programs in the board.
sorry.
So you mean to say that we can upload multiple program in the STM32 board?
No, not multiple program.
At a time, only single program will be run, na?
Yeah, at a time it will be running a single program. Okay.
Okay. Right.
So shall we see this program? Okay. So I tried to show you some little let's say precautionary steps. Not say precautionary, but the prevention should be done in order to get the best out of ourselves in exploring this controller. Okay. So first we want to generate, so this block is clear from where we get. So now it is up to the configuring this block. So in this this digital output block, we have seen the on the figure of that controller that we are using this PD12 and PD13 pin. Okay. So this port you have to select. The port you can select A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but we have selected D. Why we have selected D? Because on the controller of this this the motherboard of this microcontroller, you can see that this PD1 to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pins. These pins only will work as a GPIO pins. Okay. If you select PC12 pin, and you will see the PC12 pin, and you will connect your DSO probe here, and you are saying that there should be 1 kilohertz pulse on this PC12 pin, but it won't come. Why? Because it is a GPI, it is configured as a GPI pin. Yes, someone. Okay.
Okay.
So that this pin you have to select this PD10, and just this simple setting we have this PD port you have to select. Then after the port you have to select this PD12 and 13 pin. That's all. The sample time you don't have to worry about right now. You select -1. It will take inherently. It inherently means whatever the block you have connected here, it is working at whatever speed. This block will work on that speed. Okay. So on the PD12 pin, we are generating 1 kilohertz pulse. So for that we have this, we have used this pulse generator. You must have used in any of the simulation, right? So you are all aware about this configuring this block. So is there any confusion in this? I'll be explaining this, but what are your understanding of this block? So,
So this generator should be taken from the Wising block set, or like normal?
No. You can get from the Simulink library itself. This pulse generator won't be available in the Wising block set.
So this pulse generator will work with this.
Yeah. Any block with having this sample time section available in this block, that you can that you can use with this Wising block. Okay, it is compatible. So is this block is clear? What we have done here? So we want to generate 1 kilohertz pulse, right? So the amplitude we have set to 1. So the number of period is the number of sample we have taken 10. Then pulse width we have taken number of samples, which is 5. Then phase delay we have not given, and sample time we have select this. So how we have selected this? Okay, so the sample time selection is based on the your frequency, okay, and your number of sample. So if you select, you want to create the frequency, the pulse of 1 kilohertz frequency. So your sample time will be of okay. I'm writing this TS as a sample time. Okay, so TS will be your frequency divided by your number of sample. Okay, so now frequency what we have selected 1 kilohertz, right? Okay, 1 kilohertz. In the second I have written. And what are the number of samples? 10. So the number of sample is this 10. So then we will get 0.0001 as our sample time. Is this clear? Yugal?
Sir, we have taken frequency in kilohertz, but
But yeah, but I have taken this in the second.
okay, right, okay, got it.
Okay, 1 upon frequency.
Okay, got it, sir, got it.
Okay. So this is how we have selected this sample time. Okay. To get your sample time, you have to divide your frequency by the number of sample. Then you will get your sample time.
So suppose
Okay.
that I need to have the 10 kilohertz. In that case, I need to change the what we call it sampling time of both the blocks.
Sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Suppose I need to generate the 10 kilohertz pulse.
Yeah.
Then in that case, what are the value which we need to change?
So you can do any of the things. So if you select the number of samples, this will be affected, right? Okay. So you want to generate 10 kilohertz per. So you will put one more zero here. So but you want increase the number of sample, right? Because you are generating a square pulse already. Okay. Yes. So the number of sample won't be affecting that much. Okay. So
Is it,
you
sir, is
yeah
it so that the number of samples should be fixed, or
yeah.
can we vary it?
No. Your number of sample will be fixed once you have selected in whatever you have given in the this block.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So you have increased the point was 10 here, and accordingly you will have to enter one more zero here. So then you will get this 10 kilohertz pulse.
So we can change the this particular value in the pulse generator block. But what about the digital output block? We need to change the.
No. You as I said, okay. Uh, as I said, we have already selected -1 here. Okay, -1 means inherently. So whatever block you have connected here in the this PD20 this digital output, whatever block whatever is the speed of that block, this digital output will operate at that speed. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so it's the same way we have generated this 1 second pulse on the PD13. So I think this is clear, right? We will toggle this PD13 pin at the rate of 1 second. So shall we move on to the watching the experimental setup of this? Okay, sir, someone's mic is on. Okay, thank you. So shall we move on to the experimental setup of this code?
Shall I ask one question, sir?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sir, suppose I'm controlling one DC to DC converter in which I'm
Yeah.
using some kind of control, closed loop control. And
Yeah.
for that closed loop control, I'm having some kind of multiple blocks I have. So, is it necessary to choose the blocks from the Weising block set, or like those blocks can be compatible? As I have already said that it can be compatible if the what we call the TS is same.
Yeah, I think you are suggesting what is I am getting is that you have created one simulation, and then you have that simulation for that whatever the control block you have, control system you have created, that control system if you can implement in the hardware, that you are asking, right?
Correct, sir, correct.
Yeah. Okay, so in that case you can it is possible. So in that case, what you have to do is means like you have simulated in the in the yesterday session itself. We have seen the benefits of the fixed step discrete simulation. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so that way you have to create your simulation, and once you are done with your simulation, and then you try to interface with this programming in the Weijung block set, then your only change will be that your power circuit will be removed from your that simulation, and it will be replaced by the actual hardware.
Okay.
Okay,
So
the
yes, sir,
same
that
TS and what then the same TS you can use in the simulation as well as in this.
okay.
That's
Instead
the
of using
benefit of this fixed step discrete simulation.
okay, sir.
Okay, so shall we move on?
Yes.
Okay, so we will see we see the exercise experiment of this code. Okay. Yugal, can you state me that if audio and video is properly visible and audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you any point you are having issues, then please notify me. Okay.
The audio is not coming actually. Video is okay, but audio is not coming.
Okay, let me check. Now,
Sorry, sir,
now
it's
is
not
it clear?
getting coming. Sorry, sir, video is okay, but voice is not coming.
Let me check. Okay. I'll stop my presentation for a moment and I'll share again. Okay. Let me check. Now is it audible?
No, sir.
I'm not getting.
Oh, okay. Let me make some changes here.
Hello.
Hello. Yes,
Junaid.
sir.
Any
Yes, sir.
any problem, Junaid?
Yeah, I'm facing this video. Just want to show, and there is some error of audio. Okay.
He want to show video. Video ला join कर.
I'm sharing my screen. Okay.
Hello.
You,
Yeah,
you just want to share your screen.
I'm sharing my video screen. Okay, let me. Okay. Let me check this works, and then I think it will be solved. Let me share again. Is it audible now? You good?
So this
Yes.
is we have downloaded in
Okay,
our
it's
controller
audible.
kit. So in this controller kit, we can see that this LED is toggling at every 1 second. So 1 second on, 1 second off. In similar way, in this card also, in the daughter card also, this LED is toggling. So this LED and this LED are connected at same pin. And this LED is inherent part of this daughter card, and this we have connected using some peripheral. So this is all about PD13 pulse that we have generated here, PD13. Now we will see PD12. So that pulse, PD12 pulse are terminated here. Here this port is there, GPO port. So this pin is there. So to see in the oscilloscope, first we need to put ground. So we will see ground from here. So this ground is taken. So we need to connect oscilloscope ground with the controller ground. This is the prior condition, necessary condition to observe the signal in there. Now at PD12 we will put the first channel. So now we can see here 150% duty cycle pulse is there. So we will see its frequency. So to measure the frequency, we will go for measurement. So here we can see that we should select the source. So source is first source, first channel. So we will select the source. Then what we need to measure. So here the type. There are many types of measurement parameters are there. So we will select the frequency. So when we add it, it will be added here. So our frequency of first signal is 1 kilohertz. It is according to our requirement and according to our code. So this is the 1 kilohertz pulse. Now here at PD13, now we will put the second channel. So now this pulse is not visible, you can see here, but actually this is coming at every 1 second. So if we increase this time per division, you see. So now I made time per division 500 millisecond per division. So you can see. So it is at every 1 second, it is off, 1 second on, 1 second off, 1 second on. So this is all about the GPO operation of STM32 controller, and its program we have done using Weijung block set.
So it was clear, right? It was
Yes, sir.
okay. So so we will take a small break here, and we will continue of the other remaining exercises after
Uh,
the break. Okay. Yes,
we'll
sir.
take a break of 5 minutes. Huh?
Yeah. We will continue at 3:45. Okay.
3:45 we will continue
Okay.
for
Okay.
next 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. All participants, please stay for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Sir, it is my sincere request from you guys that please provide the recorded video of this particular practical session. Sir, it will be very helpful for us.
Shall we begin?